Aries, wealth, a farewell and a rebirth in 2025. Lately, have you felt like something is shifting around you? Not an obvious change, but subtle signs. A fleeting glance that brings back a forgotten memory. A recurring dream that feels like the universe is trying to send you an urgent message. Or maybe a sudden feeling that stops you in your tracks and makes you wonder, am I really on the right path? If so, it's very likely that your soul, strong, pioneering, and deeply intuitive, has started to hear the call from the other side of destiny's door. 2025 isn't just another year. It arrives as a grand gateway, opening into 3 sacred experiences. 1. An unexpected financial gift that transforms your relationship with wealth. 2. A tearful but liberating farewell. 3. And a radiant rebirth that rises from deep within your spirit. These experiences are not separate. They are part of a single cycle, a divine journey crafted uniquely for the Aries soul. Bold, relentless, and always charging forward, yet sometimes forgetting that even warriors need a place to rest and someone to come home to. And if you stay with me until the end of this video, I will help you unlock each of these doors, one by one. Not so you can simply understand why, but so you can feel the deeper meaning of going through them, so that in the end, you're no longer just someone surviving life's battles, but someone truly living, with purpose, love, light, and the right to receive all the good you've ever given, without expecting anything in return. Are you ready to begin? Let's start with the first transformation, wealth as a mirror of the soul. Aries, you're used to always pushing forward, being the first to move while others hesitate. But behind that strength, has anyone noticed that sometimes all you really want is a moment to pause, to be loved, and to feel like you don't have to earn your happiness? Because you've never asked for it, the universe wants to give. Not as a reward for effort, but as a gentle reminder, you've always been worthy. An unexpected financial gift is coming, not just to help you take control of your life, but to test you. Will you believe in your own worth, even when there's nothing left to prove? Now ask yourself this: do you dare to invest in your own dreams, instead of always supporting the goals others set for you? Do you dare to step into the light, to take the stage you were born to own? Or will you keep standing on the sidelines, holding yourself back, playing the supporting role in someone else's victory? The real question isn't about how much money you have. It's about whether you allow yourself to live in abundance, to unlock the full potential you've hidden away. Aries, be honest with me. If tomorrow a large amount of money suddenly fell into your hands, what's the first thing you'd do? Would you use it to heal the wounds of your childhood? Would you build a foundation to restart the dreams you once put on hold? Or would you avoid it, afraid that accepting such a gift might make others judge you as greedy or materialistic? But I want you to pause and remember this: you are worthy. Not because you're perfect, or because you've worked hard enough to earn a reward, but because you've given, you've fought, and you kept going, even when you had nothing left. And that, Aries, is where the real magic begins. When you learn to receive without shame, when you allow yourself to feel gratitude instead of guilt, and when you understand that humility doesn't come from rejecting blessings, but from truly appreciating the gifts life offers, you begin to shift into a powerful new state of being. In 2025, your financial energy will be greatly amplified by the influence of Jupiter, the planet of expansion, opportunity, and luck that follows the brave. For Aries, this could manifest in many ways: a breakthrough investment opportunity, money from a forgotten source, a long-abandoned idea returning with new strength, or simply a profound shift in how you view your own worth. You'll look back on everything you've endured and finally say, I've come far enough. I deserve something good. And that isn't arrogance, it's sacred self-recognition. Because when you have enough, you can give without fear. Only when you're no longer worried about money can you truly be free. Free to live as who you really are. A soul born to lead, to initiate, and to bring light into places that once knew only darkness. Yes, Aries is often seen as the fearless warrior, strong, bold, unshakable, but I also see your heart. A heart that's been hurt. A heart that longs to be loved, without having to prove you're worthy of it. And this is where your true power lies, when your bravery is met with abundance, when your courage is supported by resources, you become a fire that cannot be put out. When that burning energy within you merges with real-world support, you'll be capable of extraordinary things. You might give a young soul the chance to go to school, create a safe haven for the vulnerable, launch the community project you've always dreamed of, or finally take your parents on that trip you've promised again and again, but kept postponing due to life's heavy responsibilities. These acts may seem small, but they are sparks of light in a world that is still healing. And you, Aries, you are that fire. Money isn't the goal. It's the fuel. Fuel that allows you to go further on your journey. Remember, the real challenge isn't the number in your bank account. It's how you see your own worth. Do you dare to believe that you were born not only to overcome hardship, but to live fully in prosperity? Because once you believe that, every door will begin to open. Let me ask you again, do you truly believe that the universe, or if you prefer God, wants you to live in prosperity, not to boast, but so that you can become a channel for light, a vessel for love, a spark for action, and a source of healing? Aries, it's time to stop shrinking yourself. It's time to stop stepping back just because you fear being misunderstood, afraid others might call you too ambitious, too selfish, too much. But you know your heart better than anyone, and so does the universe. So lift your head high, open your heart, look in the mirror and say, I am ready to live in abundance. I don't have to live in lack. I don't have to sacrifice everything to prove I'm a good person. I just need to be myself. And that is enough. Aries, the road ahead may still be long, but you've already come so far. And now, a new chapter is opening. A chapter where you live not just with purpose, but with love. Not only with the fire of determination, but with the soft light of peace. Not only with dreams, but with all the resources you need to bring those dreams to life. But like all deep transformations, but before you can step into this rebirth, another door will quietly open. A farewell, a funeral. But don't be afraid, because this funeral isn't just about loss. It's a sacred reversal, a necessary ritual to lay to rest what no longer serves you. Are you ready to walk through that door, Aries? There are moments in life that even the strongest warriors must meet with silence, not because there's nothing to say, but because no words could ever carry the weight of what the heart feels. Loss is one of those moments. Do you remember the last time you lost something, or someone you truly loved? Not because you failed, not because you let go, but simply because life, in its mysterious way, split everything into two sides. One where it still lives in memory, and the other, an emptiness where nothing else can grow. You stood still, no longer rushing ahead like you used to. You just watched. And then the tears came. Not loud, not dramatic, just a heavy, sacred silence. But then something strange happened. A soft breeze brushed past you, as if someone had gently touched your shoulder. A familiar melody played at the exact right moment. A scent from the past returned, and it pierced your heart. And in that moment, you felt it. They're still here, just in a different form. I believe that when a soul leaves this world, it doesn't disappear. It simply shifts, from visible to invisible, from close in presence to everywhere at once. And Aries, even though you are rational, grounded, and action-oriented, there are moments your heart knows something is whispering to you, not from this physical world, but from beyond. Maybe you've had sleepless nights, a strange ache in your chest, a feeling like something or someone is coming. Maybe you've woken up with tears on your face, and you didn't know why. Dismiss it as weakness. No, Aries, that is soul connection. That is a message from someone you once loved, someone who is still with you in ways you never imagined. I believe that every loss you've endured didn't come to break you. It came to remind you that love is eternal. The body, no matter how strong, no matter how battle-ready, is only a temporary shell. Many avoid talking about death, but you, Aries, the one who dares to face everything in life, must also learn to face this. Not as an ending, but as a beginning. Not as finality, but as transformation. Not for the body, but for the soul. And you, with your innate courage and the deep intuition that few ever notice beneath the armor of a warrior, you are one of the rare few who can bridge two worlds, the visible world of action and the invisible world of emotion and spirit. Even though you often choose silence, even though you hide away your dreams, even though you suppress the vague feelings others might call weakness, there are still moments you feel something clearly, a whisper, a presence, a message from another place. Sometimes you're the only living soul carrying a message left unsaid, and you hold it in your heart like a sacred secret, needing no one to understand, needing no proof. Aries, have you ever felt a sudden chill pass through you on a hot day, followed by a strange and peaceful calm, as if someone from far away gently placed their hand on your shoulder? They are still there, still watching over you, still waiting, waiting for you to forgive. Or perhaps waiting for you to forgive yourself. Maybe you've blamed yourself for not saying that final, "I love you." Maybe you've wished that in that last moment, you'd had the courage to express what your soul always knew. And I want to tell you, someone noticed. They noticed the things you did silently, the sacrifices you never spoke of, the love you gave without asking for anything in return. All of it, not just held in memory, but kept safe in the soul's eternal record. And now, I want to gently ask you this, Aries. Who is the one you never had the chance to say your final words of love to? If they could hear you right now, what would you say? Close your eyes and say it. Right now. No one has to hear it but you and them, because souls don't need ears to listen. They only need the truth, spoken from the heart. And when you finally do, you may feel something melt within you, like an invisible knot slowly coming undone. That is forgiveness. That is acceptance. That is love. The kind that exists beyond life, beyond death, beyond time and space. A funeral, then, is not just a tearful goodbye. It's a sacred release. A door that lets you close an old chapter filled with unsaid words and unnamed pain. And once you do, you can step into a new chapter. One where you no longer carry silent guilt, but instead carry the light of those who have passed not away, but down to you, in silence, in memory, in love. Aries, if you are living through a loss, whether recent or long ago, please know this: grief does not need to be overcome. It only needs you to walk through it, just as you've walked through every hardship before. But this time, you don't need to be strong in the way people expect. You don't have to be a symbol of resilience. You only need to be honest, with the emotions that rise uninvited, with the tears that fall without warning, with the soft, aching smile when a forgotten memory suddenly returns. And it is in that delicate space, where you stop trying to prove, where you stop trying to control, that true love finds its way back to you. Not as someone to replace who you've lost, but as a soul who once wandered, now returning to remind you you are not alone. You have never truly lost anyone forever. You've only just begun to hear their soul in the silence, and then, in the quiet of that farewell, in the space where it felt like you'd lost everything, the sweetest thing begins to bloom, a promise of love. Another soul will arrive, not to fill the void, but to continue the journey. A connection born not from longing, but from the deep maturity that now lives in your heart. A heart that has finally learned how to love without clinging, without hurting, without fear of losing. Aries, are you ready for a soul marriage? Not a lavish ceremony with a white dress and soft music, but a quiet cosmic reunion between two souls who once lost each other across many lifetimes. Now, they return, not to begin something new, but to complete an invisible thread that was once broken. They will appear. Not flashy, not loud, not the kind of person you used to think of as your ideal type. But when they look at you, you'll know. Because in their eyes, you'll see the softness of someone you once loved deeply. You'll hear a familiar voice echoing from another life. You'll feel a sense of continuity, as if the universe is stitching back together the scattered pieces of your heart. Love will return, not like before, but deeper, quieter, more complete. Because now, you've walked far enough through the darkness to truly understand the value of light, and I believe this is the sacred gift the universe is offering you. Because you didn't give up, even when you came close to letting go. Aries, get ready, not for another goodbye, but for a rebirth, right inside your heart, because you've never truly lost anything. You've only just rediscovered a part of your soul you once thought was gone forever, and now a new chapter will begin. But this time, you won't be walking it alone, because love, for you Aries, has never been easy. It often arrives late, after the heartbreak, after your heart has grown tired and quietly closed itself off. But it's in that very lateness that love finds its strange kind of perfection. It doesn't come to fill a void, it comes to bring a broken soul back to life, a soul that is still brave enough to love again. I once met an Aries woman in her 60s. She had lived her whole life with pride, with logic, and a heart so strong that no one dared to step inside. She was a warrior, a protector of her own flame. But then, she fell in love again. And for the first time in her life, she didn't have to fight to be loved. She didn't have to prove, to chase, to guard. For the first time, she felt safe in love. A feeling she had never known in her younger years. No drama, no noise, no need to win or to hold on. Just quiet evenings, cooking together, fingertips brushing in silence, eyes meeting in a kind of understanding. So deep, no words were needed. She smiled and said to me, I used to think love had to hurt. But it turns out, when you love the right person, at the right time, it feels like peace. And that, dear Aries, is exactly the kind of love the universe has set aside for you in 2025. A love that doesn't come to test you, but to heal you. A love that doesn't begin with passion or loud promises, but with a quiet gaze between two souls. Two souls who once hurt each other in a past life. They've returned, not to start a new story, but to finish the one that was left undone. And without needing words, they'll say, this time I won't disappear. This time I'll stay. This time we won't miss our chance. Aries, you don't need a perfect person. You just need someone brave enough to hold your hand at your weakest moment and still gently whisper, I'm still here, because you've loved fiercely before. You've given the most sacred parts of your heart to someone who wasn't ready. And maybe that made you question whether the love you once dreamed of ever really existed. But the truth is, you weren't wrong for loving too deeply. You simply loved at the wrong time. And now, the timing has changed. In 2025, with the support of destiny and the stars, especially Mars, your ruling planet, everything begins to realign. Mars will return to a position of great strength, opening a karmic gateway, not necessarily for marriage, but for a soul encounter, a meeting that was written before you were born. Someone is coming. Someone your soul has known for a very long time. You may not recognize them right away by how they look, but you will feel them. In a glance, soft enough to make you pause, warm enough to open your heart. No logic, no explanation. Just this. They're here. And you'll know. This love won't burn you, like the wild collisions of the past. This love will anchor you, back to yourself. It will be someone who sits quietly beside you on the days when you have nothing to say. Someone who doesn't try to fix you, doesn't analyze or explain, but simply stays present, letting you heal in your own rhythm, in your own breath. They won't run when you're vulnerable. They won't look at you with pity. They'll hold you as though every crack in your heart is a sacred part of who you are. And Aries, believe me when I say this, there is a soul quietly loving you. Not loudly, not publicly, but waiting. Waiting for the universe to give the green light. And if, while hearing these words, a certain presence stirs gently in your heart, even faintly, that is not a coincidence. Leave a sign. Not for me, but for the universe itself. Whisper it gently. I am ready, because sacred love doesn't knock when you still believe you have to do everything alone. It doesn't arrive while you're still trying to be unbreakable. It comes when you finally realize you were never meant to do this life on your own. When you're honest enough to whisper, I don't want to walk alone anymore. I want someone to walk with me, not to fight the world, but to live more gently, together. And when you open your heart, when you're no longer afraid of tenderness, when you're no longer ashamed of being cared for, of being loved, you'll begin to see it, that a true wedding doesn't lie in a piece of paper. It's found in the quiet, meaningful moments, when they think of you in the middle of a stressful day, in a simple message, are you doing okay today? In the way they won't let you sit in silence for too long, in every glance, every touch, every knowing smile. That kind of love will come, Aries. If you're brave enough to unlock your heart, no longer tightening your grip to stay in control, no longer pulling away out of fear. To welcome that love, you must walk through one final doorway. The deepest one. Spiritual transformation. Not a grand, loud event, but a quiet shift inside. A moment when you stop chasing love to fill a void, and instead seek to live, to feel, to grow together. That, Aries, is the true wedding of the soul, and you are the main character in that sacred ceremony. The universe is waiting, not for perfection, not for strength, just for your quiet but decisive yes. Aries, not everyone sees the path you've walked. They see your confidence, your strength, but not the nights you collapsed in silence, crushed by a pain too deep for words. They admire your bravery without knowing the truth. That real bravery isn't always about continuing the fight. Sometimes it's daring to admit, I'm tired, I'm hurting, and all I really want is to be loved exactly as I am. Nothing more, nothing less. And so, Aries, know this. 2025 isn't just another year on the calendar. It is a sacred chapter written specifically for your soul. A year where abundance arrives, as both a gift and a test. Where a funeral becomes a doorway to your liberation. And where a wedding, without a stage or ceremony, takes place deep within your heart. Marking a soulful rebirth. After countless seasons of storms, you've carried so much. You've stood tall where others could not. But now, the universe is no longer asking you to keep fighting. It's inviting you into a new kind of journey, one where you are allowed to receive, to soften, to live in abundance, and to be loved without needing to protect yourself. Thank you for being here. If this message touched something in your soul, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, so you won't miss the next sacred messages and divine prophecies, your financial destiny, your emotional rebirth, and your soul-aligned future are entirely in your hands. I cannot wait to see what the universe has in store for you. So, Aries, step in, flow with the current of abundance, and let the magnificent energy of the universe guide you into your brightest, most beautiful future.